Welcome to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. We'll be here. Sometimes I joke and say we'll be here all night, but this time it's true. We'll be here today for the warm-up for Janmāṣṭamī, because it's Sunday. Before Janmāṣṭamī, many people will be coming to see Krishna. And tomorrow we'll be... Thank you. Hey, Krishna. We'll be celebrating Krishna's appearance day all day long, from early morning all the way past midnight. And then the next day is the appearance day of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our founder Acharya. We'll first start with some auspicious prayers before we have kirtan and speak about Krishna together. And some of you know these, others who don't can follow along on the screen. These are traditional prayers recognizing that whatever we say or do comes from Krishna and his representatives. We're not independent actors, nor do we have our own power, but in the process of bhakti yoga, as Queen Kunti in her prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam says, Janmāṣṭamī Shruta Edamanamada Puman Narvar Yavidatum Vai Tvama Kinchana Gocharam. And that is that we shouldn't think that because of some material asset that we have that we can become successful. In fact, she says that those who recognize that they're powerless unless Krishna gives them strength, knowledge, the wherewithal to speak about him, then what can one say? Even Prahlād Mahārāja, those who know the Srimad Bhagavatam know the story of Prahlād, for whose sake Lord Nrsimhadev appeared in the world, said, Balasya neha sharanam pitaro Nrsimha nartasya chāganamudhanvati majito no. Taptasya tat pratividirya rehanja sheshtas tavad vibho tanubhutam tvarupekshitanam. He gives these three analogies that a person who wants to take care of his or her child may do everything possible and should. But he said it's not a guarantee that the child will be perfectly taken care of just because you do your due diligence. And he said, if you take a boat to save somebody on the water, it's not guaranteed that you'll be able to save the person on the water. And everybody knows that if you go to your doctor and say, can you definitely cure me? He or she will say, maybe. We'll try our best. Because Prahlād Maharaj says, if the Lord is upeksha, if he doesn't sanction it, then what can be done? Therefore, on days where we celebrate the Lord's appearance, we can remember how dependent we are on him, which is a good thing, as it's our natural position to be dependent on Krishna and act as instruments. The instrument doesn't play itself, but when we allow ourselves to serve, or we avail ourselves for service to Krishna, then he can use us as he wishes. This is a very joyful position in life. So our prayers start with Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And in this prayer, we're saying that I'm offering my respects and gratitude to my teacher, who opened my eyes. Although they were shut closed, the shalakaya is a kind of a surgical instrument through which a eye doctor would open one's eyes so one could see. And in the next prayer it says, Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Now we get into appreciating the previous teachers who have passed down the science of Krishna consciousness all the way to the present age. As Krishna comes in various ages, as he says in the Bhagavad-gītā. Everyone knows this one. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gītā to Arjuna that again and again, yada yada, I come to establish religious principles. What is it that you can do to improve yourself in this world? Hint, it's not self-help. That as like a warm bath. If you take a warm bath and you walk away, of course you wouldn't want to take a warm bath today, right? Probably a cold bath. You want to vote or no? Yeah. Even if you take a cold bath today, you walk away and you'd warm up later. It's short-lived self-help. But when one is able to establish one's self in one's original position as a servitor of Krishna, this is called dharma. So Krishna gives the ways and means in various eras so that everyone has the proper means by which to approach him. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. And when there's some discrepancy in following dharma, which we may notice in the world. Have you ever noticed any discrepancy? Say yes. Yeah, you just have to read the paper. I mean, I don't recommend that, but then Krishna comes to rectify that. Glanir bhavati bharata abhutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. He says, I come to reestablish dharma, to give people a way that they can become realigned. And there are lines of teachers, and these teachers have students, and then the students later on become teachers, and through millennia, through many generations, this tradition has followed all the way from the beginning of time when Krishna had spoken to, who's the first person that he speaks to for 20 points? Brahma. Krishna speaks to Brahma. Well, of course, we'll give you credit for that, Srivas Pandit. It's a tricky answer. But at the beginning of creation, Brahma is clueless when he comes out on the lotus flower and he's wondering where he is. And therefore, it's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam that he has to perform tapasya by the order of Krishna. First things he hears from Krishna are tapa. Tapa. Close your eyes. Go on, close your eyes. Here's the first words he hears. Tapa. So he's so intelligent, now you can open your eyes. You heard them, so tapa means concentrate, give your whole heart to trying to understand me. And Prahlād Mahārāja explains tivrena. What is it? Kalena tivra tapasa parishudha bhava. Kalena means that for a long time he concentrated his mind to achieve Krishna. Kalena tapa. Kalena tivra tapasa parishudha bhava. And he became purified. So this next prayer talks about how one of the great teachers in our line is named Rupa Goswami. Everyone please say Rupa Goswami. He's one of the chief disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared in Kali Yuga to teach the Yuga Dharma for Kali. What age are we on now? I'll give a quiz, multiple choice. Satya Yuga. No? Okay, how about Treta Yuga? Dwapara Yuga? Kali Yuga? How can you tell? Bhagavatam says that in the Kali Yuga, Prayanalpalya Shashabhya Kalavasmin Yugejana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Manda Bhagya Hipadrita. This is the proclamation at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam that in Kali Yuga, people have short lives. They're quarrelsome. Indicate if any of these qualities sound familiar for the age. They have short lives. They're quarrelsome. Anything? Anyone? Lazy? Quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky. And the last one everyone can go for. Oh, I'm not saying about you. I'm saying about people in the world. You're not disturbed at all. You're here in Krishna's temple, always disturbed. that was written 5,000 years ago, and it's prescient. It foresees the appearance of the smartphone, always disturbed. So in Kali Yuga, it's always disturbed. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most recent avatar of Krishna, he came 500 years ago. It's near the beginning of Kali, about 5,000 years in, and he teaches the Yuga Dharma, which is said to be Harinam Sankirtan. Sankirtan means the congregational chanting of God's names. This is the way of purification, to realign everyone in Dharma in this age. So this is about Rupa Goswami, who came with a mission to fulfill the desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He knew his heart. He knew the purpose. That's what it means. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. And the next prayer, as an invocation, has a long list of many of the luminaries of the line of teachers that come from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it goes, Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vaiśeṣika. Now the next prayer on the next screen is very beautiful. It says, "O my dear Krishna, O ocean of mercy." So a Karuna Sindho means he has so much mercy, we call it an ocean of mercy. We're calling out to Krishna, "Hey Krishna," why don't you try? Hey Krishna. But now do it like the residents of Vrindavan would do. Now try raising your hands in the air and look to the sky and say, "Hey Krishna." Hey Krishna. Yeah. So whenever you're feeling a little bit depressed, anybody here ever get a little down sometimes? 1, 2, 3, 4, then just go like this. Hey Krishna. Hey Krishna. Because as it said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, apana samsritim gorandya nama vivishogranan tata sadyo vimucheta yad bibheti swayam bayam. This is a recommendation, it's a prescription written out in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself that says, if you're ever in need of help, call on Krishna's name, because it says Krishna and his name are non-different. This is something that Narada Muni says also in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Iti murtyabhidanena mantram amurtim amurtikam yajate yagyate purusham darshanam puman. I totally messed up the verse, but it says, Iti murtyabhidanena mantra murtim amurtikam, which means that murti means form. It also means, Sanskrit words can have different meanings, right? Say yes. It also means difficulty. So this verse says something very tricky grammar here. It says, Iti murtyabhidanena mantra murtim amurtikam. That's if you want to see Krishna, if you want to be with Krishna, what song does that remind you of? My sweet Lord. Really want to see you, Lord. Really want to be with you, but it takes so long, my Lord. So if you really want to see Krishna, if you really want to be with Krishna, this verse says, Iti murtyabhidanena mantra murtyam amurtikam. If you take Krishna through the mantra, through his name, then it's not difficult. You can see the form without difficult. And he says that full darshan is there through the name. Not something indirect, not something indicated, but actually directly and fully Krishna's there in his name. So this is the primary process that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. And we can take advantage at any moment to call out to Krishna and say, "Hey Krishna." Hey Krishna. And this is a great time of year to do it because we're coming up on Janmāṣṭamī. Because if you have to go back to work on Janmāṣṭamī or the next day, sorry to bring it up, then when you're at your office, in your cubicle perhaps, or in a meeting sometime, just try this one time, little homework. While everyone's there all serious and stressed out, worried about how, just go, "Hey Krishna." And just see how everyone's mood lightens up, and they start to smile, and they think, that was very nice. And maybe it'll be a trend that can catch on in your company. What do you think? Say yes. Okay, so hey Krishna Karuna Sindho, Dina Bandho. Dina Bandho means he's in favor. He'll take care of the people who are fallen. Dina means fallen. So Dina Bandho, he's a friend. When we're in need, he's there for us. No matter how far away we get from Krishna, he'll help us. No matter how far down we get, Krishna will come to help us. And Jagat Pate, he's the Lord of the universe. Gopesha. Now it gets really personal, because at Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostute, now it's talking about his personal life in Vrindavan, where he's a lover of the gopis, and especially Srimati Radharani. Next comes Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya. So this verse is remembering Krishna's Shakti, his eternal consort Srimati Radharani. The ontology of this process of Krishna consciousness described in the book called Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everyone say, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you look on that bookshelf over there, it's the golden books that you see there. And in the very beginning, it describes how, although God is one, he expands himself into many. Why does he do that? For 20 points. Why does God, who is one, become many? For his own enjoyment. Because it's no fun just being by yourself, right? Let's just say you're a CEO of a company, but there's nobody there to work for you or appreciate that you're a CEO. You can't go to your mom and say, I'm a CEO, and she go, oh, I knew you were so smart. Or you don't have any employees to come and run and serve you. We love you so much, you're the CEO. Or if you're a king, what's the meaning of a king if you don't have a kingdom and if you don't have subjects? So what's the meaning of being God unless you have unlimited appreciators? So Eko Bahu Sham means God expands himself into many. And it's for his own enjoyment. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmad Ekat Manav Api Bhuvipura Deha Bedham Katauta Chaitanyakyam Prakadamanuna Tadvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Duti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Sarupa. And that is that although Krishna is one, he's become two, more than two, but he's become two in the sense that he's expanded into Srimati Radharani. Why? Radha Krishna Pranaya, because they have a loving affair that is going on eternally since time immemorial. And therefore, in the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we approach Krishna through his devotees, and the best of all Krishna's devotees is Srimati Radharani. That's why if you go to Vrindavan, who here's from Vrindavan? Who here's been to Vrindavan? What does every rickshawwala say to you when he wants to get out of the way? Radhi, right? Everyone knows, down from the rickshawwala up to the prime minister of Vrindavan, that Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan. So this is a prayer to her, saying, please engage me in Krishna's service. Then we have the next verse, which is Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhavi evacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnava. So this is a beautiful recognition of Krishna's devotees, all those who are Krishna's devotees. By serving them, by appreciating them, they can fulfill all our desires. Therefore, they're called kalpataru. Vansha kalpataru. Vansha means we have a desire. Kalpataru means the desire tree. Do you know what a desire tree is? Yes? What is it? What's a desire tree? A kalpataru, yes? Give her a microphone. Let her explain it.
If you wish on it, your wish becomes true.
We could use a mic that we can hear from. That would be best. That doesn't work? There it goes.
If you wish on the desired tree, your wish becomes fulfilled.
Okay. Does everybody know? Do you all know what you want? Are you sure? Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Now, in meditation, you're walking through a beautiful field and approaching a venerable tree that's in the middle of a meadow. And now you're sitting down under that tree. There's some birds singing. There's a nice breeze. You feel cool, collected, and you sit down comfortably there. And now you're aware that this tree is benevolent and has the power to fulfill all your desires. Whatever desire you have, it will fulfill without fail. And now, think of what the most important thing in your life is and which desire you have to ask from the desire tree. I'll give you 10 seconds. Okay, you can open your eyes. Were you able to think of what it was? Yes. That's remarkable. I can never think of what I want. Okay, then the next one. In the next slide. It says, Nitai nam neche, namer hate, shraddha mulye nam dite chere. Nityananda, who's the associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in Krishna leela, there's Krishna, and who's his immediate counterpart? Not Srimati Radharani, Balaram. And in Lord Chaitanya's leela, there's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and? Okay, when I go like this, say Chaitanya. When I go like this, say Nityananda. Are you ready?
Yes.
And in Krishna leela, there's Krishna and there's Balaram. You want to try it again?
Krishna, Balaram, Krishna, Balaram.
Okay, now we're going to switch to Chaitanya leela.
Chaitanya, Nityananda, Chaitanya, Nityananda, Chaitanya, Nityananda.
So Krishna comes, and what's his most famous speech as far as the world is concerned? The most famous speech that Krishna ever gave? Bhagavad-gītā? Do you all agree? Yeah, it's very famous all over the world. And what's the most famous last statement that Krishna made in the Bhagavad-gītā? I think you're all saying, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvang sarva papebhyo mokshaishami masuchaha. Who can say what that means? Who wants to volunteer? You might win something. Someone? Sarva dharman paritya. Go ahead, Shravan. You'll need a microphone, otherwise we can't give you any credit.
So I know what the first half means. Abandon all sense of religion and surrender unto me. And then
Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. What does sharanam mean?
surrender unto me. Yeah.
Aham tvang sarva papebhyo.
And then I will remove all sinful.
Mokshaishami masuchaha. Everyone say masuchaha. Say it to somebody next to you. Masuchaha, masuchaha, masuchaha. You know what that means? Don't worry. Krishna says, what if Krishna came up to you and said, don't worry? How would you feel? Good, right? Yeah. So you can have that same good feeling every day. Just read the Bhagavad-gītā. Because Krishna's talking to us directly. Not just Arjuna. It's directly to us. Krishna's words are absolute. So he's saying in this verse, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvang sarva papebhyo mokshaishami masucha. If you just follow my path, surrender to me, I'll take care of everything. Everything. Don't worry. So, after Krishna spoke the Bhagavad-gītā, how many people took that seriously? Out of, let's say, 12 trillion people, how many people took that statement seriously? I'll give you a hint. You can count it on one hand. Even nowadays in India, where the Bhagavad-gītā comes from, if you ask people, do you know Bhagavad-gītā? That's not a Bhagavad-gītā. Have you read Bhagavad-gītā? Did your mom read Bhagavad-gītā? Yeah, grandmother memorized Bhagavad-gītā. But what about you? No, not so much. I didn't read Bhagavad-gītā yet. So Lord Chaitanya came to teach what Krishna taught, but in such a way that everyone could take it up. And he taught chanting, dancing, feasting. This is called the path of joy. Kevala, Anandakanda. He gave a joyful path that everyone would mistake to be fun and games, to be having a big festival and singing, dancing, eating spiritual food. And he taught anyone can follow this path. Doesn't matter where you're from. You don't have to have a certain designation in society. It's for everybody, open for, even animals can participate in the Sankirtan process of chanting Hare Krishna. It's rare, but they can do it. So when Lord Chaitanya came, he had his counterparts. And one of the counterparts, as we've already established, is Nitai. That's Lord Nityananda, who's Balaram. And he comes to very generously distribute what Krishna taught in such a way that anybody could take it up. Therefore, we have this prayer. It goes like this. Nitai namineche namirhate sharamulina dite chere. Nitai namineche namirhate sharamulina dite chere. And this is an exclamation. Nitai has brought the divine name to the marketplace of the holy name, and he is giving away that name for the mere price of your faith. Oh, that's the exclamation. It's an amazing thing. He's going out, selling it to everybody. All you have to pay is your faith, a little bit of faith. And then the next verse, Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Everyone please repeat. Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Shivasari, Gaura, Bhaktavrinda. So this is really a fun verse because it means when Lord Chaitanya comes, he comes with all his friends and all his devotees and makes it fun. Strength in numbers. That's why this long verse, it's explaining that when Krishna comes in the age of Kali Yuga, he does it with a whole group. And when there's a group, when you do things together, it's fun, right? Say yes. So that's what Krishna does in the Kali Yuga. He comes together with a big group and he makes it fun, makes it a festival. And that's what this verse means, that we're appreciating Krishna. He's come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he's also expanded himself in his different powerful energies into the personality of Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas, and all others in the line of devotion. Who are the others in the line of devotion? There's one right there. Any others? Point to somebody in the line of devotion. I'm pointing to all of you. You're all in the line of devotion. You're here at Krishna's temple for Janmāṣṭamī. So we offer our obeisances to you. Guess what the last verse is? For 50 points, what's the last verse here? If you already know, don't say it. For anybody who's new, what do you think the last verse is before we switch the slide? I'll give you a clue. We, as members of ISKCON, since the early 60s, have been known as the blank blank people. Hare Krishna people. So here's the last verse. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is how we start our festivals, is we offer our respects and we remember where we got this. How did we come to be here? It's not by chance. It was by design, Krishna's design. And through those who represent Krishna over millennia, they designed ways that we could all get together and have a process through which we could elevate ourselves and become intimately connected with Krishna through a process, a yuga dharma. So that's what we're going to be doing here all weekend, is remembering how grateful we are, how fortunate we are to have the blessings through the process of devotional service, which has been bequeathed to us here. And that's what the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is doing, is representing the tradition of the Gaudiya Sampradaya, coming from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and actually it's called the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, indicating that it's been passed down since the time immemorial to this age. So if anybody asks you, would you walk out? What are those people doing in there? You say, they're following the process of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And what is that process? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now we'll try this chanting together. Now that we've said all these prayers invoking the mercy of the previous acharyas and of Krishna himself and all the devotees, let's sing. Tonight we're going to feed everybody here, prasadam, but you're going to have to sing for your supper. No singing, no feeding. Shall we? Yes. Have you ever lost your password? Does it really bug you like me? I made a password for the lockbox that keeps all my passwords, and then I can remember that for 3 months. But fortunately, there's a universal password. Password to the whole universe. You can get in anywhere at any time. Do you want to learn the password? I'm not convinced. There's only like 3 people in here even interested. You want to hear the password? Okay, here it is. Haribol. Anywhere you go, if you just say Haribol, everyone will open the door and say, come on in, no problem. In the Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna says, Vedeshu yagneshu tapasu chaiva, daneshu yat punya palam pratishnam, atyeti tat sarvam vidam vaditva yogi param stanam upaiti chajam. When somebody just dedicates their life to me, Krishna says, don't worry, I'll personally open all the doors for you. You don't have to work separately for any of the things. So the password to get in anywhere, to achieve the highest goal of life is, and you try it out today. If you walk around, you go to the shoe stall, just say, Haribol, and people say, oh, let me find your shoes for you. If you go to the prasadam line, you say, oh, let me serve you some prasadam. And if you get stranded anywhere, in any city in the universe, and you just go, Haribol, then someone will come out and say, you said Haribol, you come in, you please stay here, we'll take care of you. And that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. When you know the password, you can say it anywhere, and you can get in anywhere, you'll be taken care of for the rest of your life. Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gītā, Ananyas chintayanto mam, tesham nityabdyuktanam. He said, if you just dedicate your mind, how much of your minds do we use anyway? Approximately. People say 2%, 5%, who knows actually. But I do know when I exert myself, which is very infrequently, that I notice that most of the time my brain's pretty much asleep. And if even with that tiny part of my brain that I use for Krishna, Krishna says, Ananyas Chintayanto mam. If you use your thinking power to think of Krishna, especially how to serve him, he says, Ananyas Chintayantam yejana paripasate, that I will personally carry what you lack and preserve what you have. So this is real life. This is a life where one can feel happy. When we try to independently take care of ourselves and we concern ourselves with so many conundrums. Everything's a conundrum in this world because we really don't know what's going on. In the words of a famous musician from bygone ages, you know something is happening, you just don't know what it is. And that's the problem here in the material world. Thanks, Kanka, for my generation. So we don't know what's really going on, but we do know one thing, and we can ascertain one thing through reading the Bhagavad-gītā and the ancient wisdom literatures, that we have a purpose. And according to the Bhagavad-gītā, and this feels very natural to us, our real purpose in life is to remember Krishna, is to serve Krishna. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koto Krishna Shika. In the words of a more modern poet than the Bhagavad-gītā, that Bolo Krishna, chant Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, worship Krishna, Koto Krishna Shika, and teach other people about Krishna. If you do those three things, then your life will be very complete. And you'll have a full career, never unemployed, never worried about getting fired or moving on anywhere. You'll be fully engaged for the rest of your life. Now, I was given 10 topics to speak about, and I have a half an hour, so let's see how I can do. The first topic I was asked to speak on was that Krishna accepts any small offering that we make to him with love. Krishna accepts any small offering we make to him when it is made with... Okay, I need a little more help. I need some audience participation. Work with me, people. Krishna accepts even the smallest offering when it's offered with love. And in the lyric of a very famous song, 5 words, sing it in chorus. All you need is love. Da, 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 da. All you need is love. That's true. All you need is love for Krishna. In the Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna says, Patram pushpam palam toyam yomi bhaktya priyachiti taraham bhakti paritam ashnami pariyatatmana. This is a very intimate, sweet verse which invites us into Krishna's world. How do we get into Krishna's world? Sounds difficult to enter into the spiritual world, which is seemingly so far away. But Krishna says, just offer me whatever you have available. Patram means pushpam, palam, toyam. Are those hard to get? Patram, hard to find a leaf. Pushpam, hard to find a flower. Toyam, patram, pushpam, palam. How about a fruit? Anybody have any figs this time of year? Yeah, if you take one fig from your tree and you offer to Krishna with, because all you need is love. Da, 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 da. All you need is love. That's the theme of the Bhagavad-gītā, and that's what Bhakti Yoga means. You can have the simplest item to offer, and if you offer to Krishna with love, then he will ashnami paritatmana. He says, I'll accept it. In fact, he says, I'll taste it. I'll eat it, because he likes that. So therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gītā, yet karoshi, yet ashnashi, yet juhosi, dadasi yet tapasyasi kontiyat, tat kurishva. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, do it as an offering to me. You're already doing stuff, right? Does anybody in this room do stuff? Yes. Every day? Yes. Yeah, that's a fact. It's verified in the Bhagavad-gītā. Krishna says, Nahi kashit shanamapi jatu tischatya karma krit karyate yavasha karma sarva prakriti jarguna. He said, no one can stop doing something, even for a moment. Even when you go to sleep, you start dreaming, right? Yeah. And in your dreams, you're moving, you're acting. You maybe even going to work, but you don't get paid. So everybody's doing something all the time. Krishna says, now all you have to do is do it for me. All you eat, all you offer, all you give away, all austerities that you perform, any kind of puja, worship you do it for me, Krishna says. So finally, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Tasmat ekena manasa bhagavan sattvatam pati shrotavya kirtitavyascha dheya puja sanityada. This is how to focus one's attention in life so that you get the highest return on your investment. Tasmad ekena. What does ekena mean? Ek means? Yeah, one. You're looking in one direction, attending to one thing. Tasmad ekena Bhagavan Sattvatam. You're all sattvatas, devotees. Pati. Who's the pati? Who's your Lord? So you're Sattvatam Pati. He's the Lord of all of us here. Shrotavya means? Shrotavya Kirtitavyas. Did we just do kirtan? Say yes, you get 20 points for free. Kirtitavyas cha means? And also, etc. Dhyaya, meditation. Yes? Pujas, worship. Cha, again. Nityada. Let's give you a final quiz here. 50 points on this one. Nityada means how often should you do this, what we're just mentioning. Nityada. Always. And if you can't do it always, our great acharyas say, because that might be a heavy burden to say, always, I can't do that always. They say, at least every day, for as much as you can. So, Krishna is very kind. He always adjusts the process of devotional service according to the age to make it available, accessible to us. And even in the Bhagavad-gītā that he spoke 5,000 years ago, he said, if you just offer me a little bit, something, even if it's sualpam, neha bikramana shosti pratyavayana vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya. He said, you can save yourself a lot of trouble if you just offer me something, you dedicate yourself to me. And how much do you have to do it? Even a little bit. Su alpam. Alpam means, all Hindi speakers, what does alpam mean? Little, little. Tora. So what does su alpam mean? It means Tora, Tora, Tora. Little, little, little. So little, like that's all you had? Uh-oh, I'm getting kicked out. Let's see. Oh, that's all it is. Please move forward. 7.2 inches forward because we're expecting another 1,000 people in the next half hour or so. Feel free to move up. We're all vegetarians. Everyone happy? Oh. You sure? Okay, let's work on it. Are you ready for the next topic? Engineers, did you catch that? So next topic, why does Krishna come to this world? Why does Krishna come to this world? Who would like to make a suggestion? Yes? To give pleasure to his devotees. Does anybody here consider him or herself a devotee of Krishna? Okay, 1, 2, 3 people. 3 people. You're all very humble, I know. Okay, why does Krishna come to the world? Yes? For the bright light. Krishna swadamo bhagate dharma ganadi saha kalonashta drishamesha purar narakota nodita. It says that after Krishna left for his abode, there was just darkness. It means it was very light while he was here. But what appeared just after Krishna to give light to the world? According to the verse I just... Srimad Bhagavatam. So Krishna appears to give the light of knowledge, the light to light the pathway of everyone. Where else does it say in the Bhagavad-gītā that Krishna lights a pathway? For 50 points. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenam. We're not there yet. Tesham evanukam partam aham jnanajam tamaha nashayam yatma bhavasto Jnana Dīpena Bhashvata. Who's Bhaskar? Yeah. So there's a way in which Krishna says, I can light your heart. I'm there within your heart, and all you have to do is, if you just say, Hey Krishna. Hey Krishna. And you say, Krishna, I'm lost, I'm in darkness, please help me. He's there within the heart. He said, I'll come out with a lamp, a lantern. I'll light your heart up. I'll light the pathway. I can show you which way to go and how to follow the process of devotional service. He said, I'll give you intelligence how to do it. You just have to be a little bit sincere. So they're famous people, devotees, from the Srimad-Bhagavatam that wanted to find Krishna, but they weren't sure how. Can you think of somebody like that? Thank you. Dhruva Maharaj. Does anybody here know who Dhruva Maharaj is? Dhruva. Okay, 3 people know. Dhruva was a prince. He was only 5 years old. And when he was 5 years old, he tried to sit on the lap of his father, so Dhruva's a prince. And he wanted to sit on the lap of his father. So who's his father? King. But there was another child sitting at that time on the lap of his father. Who was that? His half-brother. So his father was a little hesitant to let Dhruva get up on his lap because he didn't want to displease his wife. He had several wives. And Dhruva noticed this. And who rubbed it in? Who made Dhruva feel really bad? Stepmother. She said, better luck next time. In fact, she didn't even say that. She said, better luck next life. If you take birth in my womb next life, maybe you can sit on the lap of the king, your father. But not until then, because you're unfortunate, because you weren't born from me. How did Dhruva feel about that? Not very good. He ran off with hot tears or cold tears in his eyes. What does that mean? He was mad. He's a little Kshatriya, 5 years old, Kshatriya prince. He ran to his... What do you do when you're really sad and you need to fix something? You run to your mama. He ran to his mama, and he said... didn't say anything, he just cried. And his mother had heard already from the residents of the palace what had happened. She hugged him, she consoled him, and she had heard what the stepmother had said, which was, only God can help you. And she said, actually, she's right. Number one, I'm not the favorite queen. You can't sit on the lap of the king, your father. And number two, she's right. The only person who can help you in this situation is God. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt nobody can help me except for God? Have you ever been in a situation when nobody wanted to help you and you thought the only person who helped me is? That's the situation Dhruva was in. So he immediately left his comfortable palace and he went to the forest because he had heard that's where great sages find God, in the forest. His mama told him. So on the way to the forest, did he meet somebody? Who was that? Narada Muni. Narada Muni is known as a great teacher of Bhakti. And it's curious that although they were pretty much in the middle of nowhere, there were no listening devices, Narada had information that Dhruva Maharaj was in trouble and he was leaving for the forest. And this is by the power of the Supersoul. Because God's in everyone's heart. In the Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna says, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hridaya sharadjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudrani maya. And that is, Krishna says, I put myself next to each person in their heart. I'm in your heart next to you, and it doesn't matter where you go. Is Krishna in the heart of a hippopotamus? Is he in the heart of an aardvark, a mongoose, a cat, an ant, snake, moose, eagle, Raccoon. 8,400,000 species of life. We won't name them all. Hopefully those are representative of, and I didn't offend any animals out there by leaving them out. He's there within everyone's heart. He's also there within the heart of every human being. And he's there specifically to guide us. So he says that I'm there within the heart of every living being, and no matter what body you choose in your next life, I'll go there with you, and I'm ready to assist you. So when we have a sincere desire to know Krishna, to reach Krishna for any reason, he gives us guidance. That's what the verse says. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. The dami means to give. Buddhi means intelligence. Yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. For those who sincerely worship me for any reason, I'll give you the intelligence by which to come to me. So what was Dhruva's reason for wanting to worship God? Was it 100% noble and pure? Okay, let's get a contrary opinion. Was it 100% noble and pure? Yes or no? Who says, anybody say yes? I thought this was the age of quarrel. We want to get a little quarrel going on. What is your opinion? In some ways it was. Listen, we had a philosopher, a pundit back here. Give her a microphone. I want to hear what she has to say. This is very good. Go ahead. Green means go. Turn on the red mic, please. Now try. Tech support on aisle 1. Try it. Can't we just turn on the red mic? All are on. Go for it. Okay, we're gonna trade. Give you a trade in. There you go. That's a hot mic for sure.
It was like, I think in some ways, yes, it was a little bit more noble, because not noble but pure, because any child wants the love of their parents or their near and dear ones, and at that time it was their father. So when he goes to reach out to God for the feeling that yes, you matter. I mean, he's in some way, yes, he's noble, because his mom told him that God is the person who you're God's child, basically. So it's obvious that it is kind of pure, that you want to reach out to that person that you love, and you want to feel loved back from the person that
okay,
you care
very good. But we're going to ask you to go one more step. Can you support it with a Sanskrit verse from the Bhagavad-gītā?
No.
Okay, let's see if you can call a friend. Can she call a friend and get a verse from the Bhagavad-gītā in Sanskrit that proves her theory? Anybody here who has a cell phone who knows the answer? Do you have your phone? Who knows the answer? Besides Srivas Pandit. You know the answer? Okay, give her how are you going to give her your cell phone number? You want to call her? Just pretend you called her. Ask her the question on the phone. Go ahead.
Could you help give me a good Sanskrit verse for
to support your theory?
Yes. I was thinking of whatever you do as an offering unto me. So regardless of the intent, Krishna purifies that when you offer it unto him.
I need 3 judges. You guys are so liberal up here. You're going to give 10? Srivas? Yeah. You accept the answer? There's a perfect answer. That one's also... Well, there's perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. How's that? We want the most perfect verse to fit your perfect theory. I'll give you a hint. It's in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad-gītā. Give it to Shraddha Devi Dasi. She's going to... keep your mic. We'll give you a mic here. Your answer was perfect. Now we're going to go for more perfect and most perfect. Go for it.
This is from the 7th chapter. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritana arjuna artho jigyasi artharthi gyani cha bharatarishabha.
Now please
So,
Unpack.
so basically, Krishna is saying that there are 4 types of people who approach him. And for the first one is the Arto, who is in distress. And the second one is Artharti, who's seeking some gains, which is Ardhruv Maharaj. He wanted a kingdom better than his grandfather. Artho Jigyasu, and then Jigyasu, those who are the curious. Artho Jigyasu, Artharti, Jnani, and then those who know Krishna.
And how do we know from that verse that it was noble? Say the verse again.
Yeah, so Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna artho jigyasu artharti jnani cha bharata rishabha.
What's your name?
Ruchira.
Huh?
Ruchira.
Ruchira. That's a nice name. Okay, so what's the one word that proves her theory that it was noble of Dhruva Maharaj to go to God for something even though he wanted some material reward?
Sukritino.
Sukritino means?
Noble. It's a good.
It's good, it's noble. It says right in the verse. That's your verse. We're going to get you a henna of the verse afterwards. Or a tattoo if you wish. Chaturvida bhajante ma jana sukritino arjuna arto jignasa artarki gyani cha bharatarshava. Krishna says 4 kinds of noble people approach me. Some of them want something in return. Some of them are in need. They're in distress. Some of them are searching for the absolute truth. Others are gyanis. So that proves it. So we'll give you extra credit, full credit. Ruchira. Very good. So, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's also said by Shukadeva Goswami, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. And that is, akama means if you don't have any material desires. Raise your hand if you don't have any material desires. And what sarva kama means you have tons of material desires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Moksha kama, you want to be done with the whole thing. You want moksha. You want to just escape from the material world. How many of you? Moksha kama. Okay, so Shukadeva Goswami says, in every case, you should do bhakti. Tivrena bhakti yogina jeta purusham param. Because, he says, if you approach Krishna, then you'll become purified, even of your desire. And what happened to Dhruva Maharaj? He wanted something material, but once he got Krishna, at the end of all his austerities and meditation, what did he say? Swamin kritartos mivaram nayache. He said, I was searching for broken glass. Truthfully, the material desire is like useless broken glass. He said, but now I found the greatest gem. I don't want what I said before. So it's a great benefit if you approach Krishna. Even if you start with material desires, he'll purify those desires so that you don't want them anymore. Why else does Krishna appear? Give us a verse that starts with Anugrahaya. Give her the mic.
Can I call a friend?
Do the best you can.
Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham deham ashrita.
Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham deham astita means that Krishna comes to this world on Janmāṣṭamī or at other times when he appears out of what's called anugrahaya. So, you know what grahas are in astrology? They're the grabbers. You know, when you look at the planetary systems and you say, oh, you're going to be in K2 for the next 7 years, and K2 is going to mess you up. No, not really. Depends on a lot of things. Don't worry. K2, I won't even say some of the other ones. Let's say Mercury, Brihaspati, Venus. All these have influence on us. They're called graha because they pull us, grab us. So anugrahaya means, anu means to follow. So anugrahaya means to make somebody follow in the right direction, and that's called what we say is mercy. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham deyam hastita bhajate prakriti krida yashutva tat parovavit. Bhagavatam says that, go ahead, you say. Give a 5-minute exposition.
Dhruva Maharaj was chasing after broken pieces of glass, but he found the greatest gem, which goes to show this verse in the translation. It says, when the Lord assumes a human-like body to show mercy to his devotees, he engages in such pastimes as will attract those who hear about them to become dedicated to him. And in this verse, we can see how the Lord appears in a human-like body, and we can relate this to Prahlād Maharaj and how Nrsingadev had appeared to protect his devotee as well as bestow his mercy upon Prahlād Maharaj. And that is a pastime that he engages in. And thus, we can also try to be eager to hear about the Lord in order to attract the
We have
person.
something to hear about, right? Because Krishna comes, he performs pastimes, and we can read about those. It's called leela. Our activities in the material world are different from Krishna's. Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gītā, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvata chakvadeham punar janma naiti mameti surjun. He said, my appearance in the world is not like an ordinary person's appearance where you're forced into the world. Was anybody here forced to come into the world? Yeah, you're forced to come out of the womb. Even if you said, no, wait, hold it. Said, no, get going. You know, your time is there. You got the timer has started. You got to go out in the world. But Krishna's not like that. He comes on his own sweet will, and his activities are not governed by the gunas. In the Gita, Krishna says, Tribir gunamayir bhaver evi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabijanati mamevya paramavyayam. Because of the modes, everyone's bewildered, but not me, because the modes come from me. I'm the controller of the modes of material nature. So Krishna is not forced to come to the world, and he's also not forced to act in the world. He acts for his own pleasure and his own sweet will. And the Bhagavatam says, it's for us because anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham deham astita gives us something to talk about. What's everybody talking about nowadays? Be specific. What's everybody talking about? Politics? Okay. And other times, what are people talking about? Politics. Or talking about musicians. Or talking about movies. What happens in a movie? Nothing? What if you went to a movie and you sat down and the light came on and there was no characters? It's a 2-hour movie. A 2-hour movie, you just paid, how much does it cost? $50 now? 10 only. $10? $10 for a movie. And you sit down and the light comes on and all there is light. Would you like that? Not too much, huh? So people want to see some characters on the screen, don't they? But the characters just stand there and they won't say anything. Is that good? You got to be a little more emphatic and help me out here. Characters come on, they don't say anything. And plus there's no music for your movie. Is that good? No, Vaiśeṣika, bad. So what we want music. And what kind of activity do we want amongst the people? Name a few subjects that are very popular. Let's start with the main one. It's 5 words. All you need is love. Everyone wants to hear about some love story, right? That's the most popular thing, like, oh, what's going to happen here? You know, somebody loves somebody else and then they don't love them and then this and that. This is called Bollywood. So there's all these... We want to hear all the mixture of relationships. We want to see everyone wearing the exact same thing, right? No, Vaiśeṣika, bad. They want to see varieties and colors, and you want music, but only one note, right? No? How many notes would you like? As many as possible, and different varieties you want to have. So this is Manush. This is when Krishna comes, anugrahaya bhaktanam manusham dehamastita. He comes like an ordinary person, but he's an actor. Queen Kunti says, Maya javani katshanam adnyad hoksa jamavyam nalakshashe mudadrisha Nato natya daroyata. It means that he's like an actor who comes on a stage and the curtain opens and there he is, he's performing a drama. This is called 2 syllables, starts with an L, ends with an A. Leela. Everyone say leela. We want leela. We want leela. Yeah, that's what we want. So when Krishna comes, he performs this leela. He kills demons. Which kind of demons? Name 3. Aghasura, Putana. We'll be here all night if we name all the demons Krishna killed. And he killed them all in the same way, right? So it's boring, right? No, Vaiśeṣika, bad. He said he killed them all in very interesting ways, like Putana. She tried to kill him by putting poison on her breast. He sucked out all her life. She died. She grew to 8 miles high. She crashed down on the ground. I mean, that's kind of interesting. And then how about Trinavarta? Grabbed his neck, pulled him to the ground, little baby pulling a tornado demon to the ground. They're absolutely fascinating pastimes. So he does this just so we have something to talk about other than politics, Bollywood drama, sports. It's all there in Krishna's pastime. All the music, all the raga, all the love, all the friendship, all the killing, everything. Rivers of blood everywhere. You like rivers of blood? Say yes. Come on, be truthful. And you like scary stuff? Scary stuff. Lots of scary stuff in Krishna leela. You don't like the scary stuff. So everyone likes a certain kind of flavor in the world. They want to see pastime. So he comes and he performs his leela so that we can remember him. We can talk about him. And it's all there recorded. Ya shrutva tat paro bhavet. Shrutva means you can hear about it later and you get the same benefit. And then you can enter into the pastimes. And Krishna says, if you hear this leela and you can understand the philosophy behind it, that this is not ordinary, that my pastimes, my appearance in the world is divyam, it's transcendental. He said, Tyaktva deha punarjanma naiti ma meti sorjuna. Special benefit for understanding this. You don't have to take birth again in the material world. Tyaktva deha means when you give up this body. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti means you don't have to take another birth in this material world. That's why Janmāṣṭamī is important. We come here to see Krishna, but even more importantly, to hear about Krishna, what he said in the Bhagavad-gītā, what his leela was. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's all mentioned, all the different leelas of Krishna. And if we hear about them, we remember them, then we become transcendental. And now it's time for arti. So now we get to see Krishna's form. In the arti ceremony, we'll face the deity. We'll have kirtan. If you like to dance, you can dance. And you can remember that one of the most important appearances of Krishna in the world is called archa. Krishna appears where he wishes because all energy belongs to him and he's controlling all of it. And one of the ways that he chooses to appear to be before us in the form of the deity. So we invite everybody now, if you'd like to, you can stand up and face the deity. We'll sing a kirtan from the orchestra pit over here as you enjoy the darshan of Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan, Srimad Mahaprabhu, Panchatattva, and Sri Sri Lakshmi Nrsimha.